Puthiya Aakasam Puthiya Bhoomi, new sky, new earth. Mathai, a farmer, doesn't get along well with the other farmers. He's talking to Kunju Nair, a fellow farmer. Farmers, including Kunju Nair's son, are seeking permission from the superintendent engineer to repair the water reservoir and release water, hoping to save their crops. Despite waiting for 3 days, their efforts were in vain. Johnson visits the superintendent engineer's home to reveal that Sukumaran, the superintendent's son-in-law and also an engineer, is planning to increase the dam's height, which would ruin their efforts. Usha, his daughter, also joins the meeting with Johnson. The superintendent is troubled by Sukumaran's actions. To make matters worse, Sukumaran has ventured into a dangerous forest for project-related investigations. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Sukumaran confirms his ability to both increase the dam's height and construct the nation's largest hydroelectric power station. They head back, but it's getting dark. In the distance, a light becomes visible to them. Panima's husband, Gopakumar, wants her to sell his portion of the property, but she's unwilling. Kunju Nair, her father, is facing financial difficulties because his farming is failing due to a lack of water. Mathai arrives and yells at him for running water to his own field through Mathai's property, leading to a quarrel. Sukumaran arrives at that moment, identifying himself as the engineer in charge of the dam. Kunju Nair explains the reason for the quarrel to Sukumaran. Sukumaran claims that his plans, if successful, will solve all their water-related troubles. When he asks about the land around them, Kunju Nair replies that it's Anathan's property. Kunju Nair heads off to buy Sukumaran some food. Mathai spreads gossip that the visitors at Kunju Nair's house are there for immoral activities, leading people to go together to catch Sukumaran. Sukumaran's helper, Hassan, informs him that this is a house of prostitutes. Sukumaran, in a fit of anger and misunderstanding, shouts at Panama. A group of people attempted to assault them just as they were about to exit, prompting them to fight back. Kuttan interferes at the opportune moment, rescuing them. Kuttan takes them along with him. Kunju Nair returns home, hears his daughter's account of events, and then, taking a dagger, goes to kill Mathai. His daughters, though, keep him from doing it. Gopan, Panima's husband, crashes into Johnson's car, leading to a discussion between them. Upon reaching Sukumaran's office, Johnson questions him about the reason for the investigation. Sukumaran explains to Johnson that the existing dam's height can be increased by an additional 10 feet. Johnson points out that Sukumaran's father-in-law was previously in charge of the dam's construction. Sukumaran is puzzled as to why the dam's height wasn't increased during its construction, considering his father-in-law oversaw the project. The farmers' group is waiting outside Sukumaran's father-in-law's residence, hoping for his approval. After being told about the farmer's struggles, he attempts to explain various other issues to Shankaran Nair, but the latter fails to grasp them. Sukumaran enters, recognizes Shankaran as Kunju Nair's son, and asks him to meet the following day. Sukumaran tells the superintendent, his father-in-law, that his report has received government approval. Sukumaran also states that constructing a tunnel will transform the dam into a much larger hydroelectric project. The superintendent is displeased, having received a show cause notice from the authorities regarding the dam's failure to be raised by 10 feet during its construction. The revelation is that if the height is increased, 800 acres of Johnson's Kaveri estate will be submerged. It was brought to Sukumaran's attention that his education was funded by his father-in-law. Furthermore, it was revealed that his father-in-law had helped the estate owners and, with the bribes gained, paid for Sukumaran's studies in Europe. Sukumaran discusses the issues with his wife, Usha, expressing his sadness. She encourages him to do what he believes is right. Sukumaran feels his obligation to the country is far more important than anything else. Sukumaran writes his resignation letter, but Usha sees it and stops him. She tells him not to resign, reminding him of his duty as an engineer. The superintendent requests GNP Lai, an engineer working alongside Sukumaran, to act as an informant and update Johnson on Sukumaran's activities. Having rekindled their friendship, Kunju Nair and Mathai are conversing when Rajama, Kunju's youngest daughter, delivers an indirect insult to Mathai. Mathai claims it was Anathan who spread the gossip about Kunju Nair's daughters. Shankaran arrives home with his friend, Nanu. Panama tells Shankaran everything. He then explains Sukumaran's situation to everyone and offers his apologies to Panama and the others. Sukumaran and Usha reach the location designated for starting the work. Sukumaran and GNP Lai are discussing his plans to start the work. GNP Lai goes to Johnson and details Sukumaran's plan to recruit volunteers for the tunnel construction. GNP Lai tells Johnson that he needs to do something to prevent such a development. Johnson drives Gopakumar away after he unexpectedly shows up. But GNP Lai advises Johnson to use Gopakumar to create problems. Johnson responds that some of the contract work will be handled by his friend. A 4-month delay would allow him to have Sukumaran transferred to another location. Johnson talks to Gopakumar on the phone, and Gopakumar mentions that Anathan is influential. Sukumaran and Usha arrive at Kunju Nair's house and meet Panama and the others. After Shankaran Kutty joins the conversation, Sukumaran informs him that the work is ready to commence. Due to financial limitations, it will be necessary for laborers to work at 75% of the standard wages. While Shankaran says it's okay, Nanu opposes the idea. Sukumaran says many people want the project to be stopped. Johnson meets Anathan and attempts to sabotage Sukumaran's efforts, asking for Anathan's help to prevent laborers from working for discounted wages. Usha informs him that she's pregnant just as she's heading back home. Sukumaran informs his father-in-law that he's about to start the work. Once Sukumaran leaves, he tells Usha that Sukumaran is not trustworthy. Panama was pressured by Gopakumar to sell her property. While they had prepared a list of 200 volunteers, Shankaran Kutty states that only 40 remain, as all the others withdrew. Sukumaran says someone is already trying to derail the project. Nanu then informs Sukumaran that his youngest sister, Rajama, has eloped with Gopakumar to Madras, leaving Shankaran Kutty heartbroken. Kunju Nair is furious. In reality, Gopakumar brought the girl to Johnson. Sukumaran addresses a public meeting, detailing why a tunnel is crucial. It would allow water to be brought from the other side of the mountain, preserving agricultural efforts. Additionally, electricity could be generated from the dam. An insult regarding Shankaran Kutty's sister prompts people to stand up against the one who delivered it. The list of people eager to begin the work sees many new enrollments. Kunju Nair and Panama go together to participate in the work. Everyone is guided by Sukumaran, who then receives food from them. While Panama frets over Rajama, Kunju Nair's reaction is anger. Rajama is informed by Gopakumar that Johnson plans to produce a movie, with her as the lead actress. Johnson explains the superintendent that he's not just worried about the 800 acres, there's also a significant amount of unaccounted land he possesses illegally. Usha questions her father about his whereabouts last night when he reaches his house. But he remains indifferent to her. He asks Usha to tell Sukumaran that 100 acres of land in Kaveri estate were actually bought in Usha's name, and therefore asks Sukumaran to stop the work. He warns Usha that the situation could become dangerous. A news spread at night that a tiger was spotted at the work site. Subsequently, it's discovered that the tiger sighting was a hoax orchestrated by Johnson. Their plan is to detonate a time bomb in the tunnel with the workers still present. Sukumaran inspects the site and discovers that some of the beams are not strong. Johnson informs the superintendent about a bomb, mentioning it's set to detonate by 3 o'clock, which was placed in the tunnel. He panics, so Johnson takes him along. The servant overhears talk of the bomb and tells Usha. When Usha comes, she realizes her father is already gone. Usha takes the car and goes to save Sukumaran. The explosion claimed the lives of several individuals, including Kunju Nair, and many were injured. Sukumaran makes it out alive, though injured, only to discover dead bodies and many seriously hurt people. When Usha reaches the scene, he recounts everything to her. Sukumaran says that it's his responsibility. Shankaran Kutty asks him to go to the hospital, but Sukumaran insists he will only leave the site after the project is finished. All 37 victims are cremated at the work site. Everyone asks Sukumaran to get medical help, but he refuses. Superintendent questions his servant, who then reveals he told everything to Usha and gets slapped. Johnson gets drunk and tries to take advantage of Rajama, but she runs away. When Usha's father reaches the workplace and asks her to accompany him, she denies, explaining that she intends to be a witness for the inquiry. Someone then comes forward and reports that Sukumaran is unconscious. After being taken to the hospital, he awoke sometime later. Johnson attempts to flee in his car when the police arrive to arrest him. However, his car goes off the road, resulting in his death. Rajama arrives at the work site, asking about her brother and sister. Mathai requests that Shankaran Kutty and Panama forgive Rajama. They grant her forgiveness and welcome her back. While Sukumaran remains hospitalized, the superintendent comes to the hospital. He confesses to Sukumaran that he understands his errors and has already reported all his wrongdoings to the government. When he was about to leave, police arrived and arrested him. People rush to the ambulance that arrives at the work site, discovering Usha within. Inside, they find Sukumaran's lifeless body. Usha hands them a letter written by Sukumaran. In the letter, it was written that the project must not be halted, and he requested to be cremated with the 37 laborers who previously died. It was also mentioned that his child should be taken to the completed dam every year. Years later, Sukumaran's son and Usha visit the dam and place flowers at the memorial stone for martyrs. Her father, who had been missing since his imprisonment, watches them from his hiding spot and blesses them.